When is it not a tough few weeks for them? It was a tough few weeks for them when they were in the royal family. It was a tough few weeks for them when they left the royal family. It was a tough few weeks for them when they did all of the interviews that slagged off all their family. It was a tough few weeks for them when they snubbed the Queen and snubbed Prince Philip. It was a tough few weeks for them when people criticised the Netflix documentary. We get the idea. Hello and welcome to another edition of Pump Up the Jam, where we dissect and analyse the Dog Biscuit Duchess and the deluded Duke. I am pumped here in London. I'm Cristo. Hello. Hello, LA. Who are you there in Los Angeles?
Are you pumped in London? I guess I jam in Los Angeles. I'm Kinsey Schofield, and today we're going to talk to you about the nightmare that was the ESPYs Awards and how it kind of all became a clown show. Venus Williams' alleged snub, and we're going to talk to you about the Sussex's surnames. Meghan's Meghan net six figures from Suits reruns. We're in the wrong business. All that and more coming up. Cristo, a lot of feedback from that Pat Tillman award.
Yeah, absolutely. So apparently, so we hear, according to sources, i.e. people who are sympathetic to Dog Biscuit Duchess and deluded Duke, apparently they are quite hurt by the backlash over his receipt of the Pat Tillman Award at the ESPYs. Now, of course, this Pat Tillman Award, and you'll know more than this about this, Kinsey, is a very, very prestigious award for someone who is a veteran, who has basically carried out some amazing service, and it's in the name of this amazing hero, Pat Tillman, who gave his life, gave up a career in American football to go and fight for his country, and sadly died. So this award is in his honour. They received it last week, and huge backlash. Harry got it, of course. Meghan was there because, of course, you know, like a fly to the proverbial, she wasn't going to miss out on that. And, of course, huge backlash against Prince Harry, which apparently they're surprised by. I mean, are you surprised by the backlash, Kinsey?
I'm not, but according to OK Magazine, this has been a tough few months for Meghan and Harry, and the pressure they are under is a lot to handle. They feel they are constantly under attack. An insider told OK Magazine Harry has been really hurt by the backlash over his award nomination, and Meghan is still reeling over the Spotify axe, as she loved doing that podcast, and she knows people want her to fail with her next project. So there's quite a lot of tension in the house at the moment.
I mean, would it just be easier if their sources told us when there hasn't been a tough few weeks for Harry and Meghan? When is it not a tough few weeks for them? It was a tough few weeks for them when they were in the royal family. It was a tough few weeks for them when they left the royal family. It was a tough few weeks for them when they did all of the interviews that slagged off all their family. It was a tough few weeks for them when they snubbed the Queen and snubbed Prince Philip. It was a tough few weeks for them when people criticised the Netflix documentary. We get the idea. It's still a tough few weeks. And of course, yet another incident of a tough few weeks, which is entirely of their own making, because, of course, Harry did not need to accept this award, did he?
He didn't need to. I mean, I think a lot of people would have respected him had he sat back and said, I really appreciate what Mary Tillman has to say. And he could have added the line that he talked about, that he used during his speech about, you know, bringing up Princess Diana, basically, and the bond between a mother and a son. And he could have said that he just, out of respect for Mary Tillman, he was going to sit this one out, or he was going to send somebody in from Invictus in his place to accept the award for Invictus, because it was still Prince Harry that was getting that award, no matter what he says, no matter what ESPN says. It was Prince Harry, and I think it all the time, but I rarely say it. Prince Harry is a glorified mascot for Invictus. I mean, that's really all he is. I'm sure he is invested and involved, but is he involved in the day-to-day decisions? I don't believe he is. I don't believe he's helping to determine what food is going to be available, where the water bottles are going to come from, how much are the water bottles going to cost. I mean, he's
The
just not
chemical
making...
toilets, Kinsey, the
Yes.
chemical toilets. Who gets the Invictus chemical toilets? You know that we're obsessed with those. So what you're saying is essentially a stuffed animal could do the job of Prince Harry when it comes to Invictus, or is that an
And it
insult?
would be cheaper. And it would be cheaper because, you know, everybody, you know, what the conversation becomes during Invictus every year is what Meghan wore. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
All of the headlines are Meghan wears sleek white dress. Meghan wears sleek beige pantsuit. It's all about Meghan. What about the veterans? With that very bizarre video of Meghan marching in front of the veterans in her shorts and blazer. Like, what about when are you going? I'm done. My little irate break is done. But do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's almost as if they distract from the ultimate cause at this point.
Well, it's all about them. It's always all about them. And hey, if you did have a stuffed toy, there'd be less complaining. I mean, to be honest, you could shove anyone there and there'd be less complaining. Go on. What were you going to ask?
I was going to say, you know, it just kind of gives you an idea of the circus that this becomes, though, because above the Dolby Theater on Thursday night, someone paid to fly a plane over the theater around the time Prince Harry was arriving, around the time of the award show, that said, Harry, investigate your mom's death. Investigate mommy's death. Okay. That's at least a grand that somebody spent to troll Prince Harry, to distract from the award show. I mean, do they understand? And I think it was trolling. I don't think somebody is sincerely, you know, saying that we need to investigate Princess Diana's death. It's been investigated for years. And I truly feel like it was somebody just trying to troll somebody. I mean, maybe it was vicious. I don't know. I don't know.
It's sort of inexcusable to do that. However, it just goes to show the depth of feeling against Prince Harry accepting this award. Now, he did give this speech, didn't he? When he went up to accept the award. Well, let's firstly talk about those moments, because if you look at the footage, you can see that everyone else was on their feet and applauding and, you know, telling them how wonderful they are. Those flashing applause signs that you spoke about last week, Kinsey, clearly were going overtime. There'll be a few bulbs needing to be replaced in those signs now. But Venus and Serena Williams, hands by their sides, stony-faced, they were not joining in, were they?
Well, Venus does step up. The last shot of Meghan, Venus is standing next to her clapping almost, but you know, it's almost as if they're like, oh wait, everybody's standing up. We got to do this too, or it'll look bad.
Has Meghan got Venus's arm behind her back in some sort of lock? Get up. But they didn't look like they were joining in initially at all, did they?
No, it was not a great look for them. And of course it led to several headlines. And that is, I think, one of the reasons we saw Serena poke fun at them initially and say, don't steal all the oxygen, or this is my night, don't take the night away from me. But it was never going to be about Serena. It was always going to be about Prince Harry and this award, because as Mary Tillman said, this was a controversial and divisive pick for the ESPYs, and they should have thought twice before doing it.
But he did acknowledge Mary Tillman, didn't he, when he was giving his speech, and the important bond between mother and son, which of course Harry understands.
Well, that was probably one of the moments that the American media ate up the most. So that was a very strategic, clever PR move. I felt like I read Meghan in that speech. I felt Meghan Markle's tone. But I did not feel like I heard Prince Harry's tone at all. I feel like a professional wrote that speech.
Well, yes, and he's sort of playing the card, isn't he, that no one can criticise.
Yep.
He is.
Well, just he's saying to Mary Tillman, you're not the only one that suffered a loss. I mean, it was almost kind of a slap in the face to Mary Tillman. And anybody that sides with Prince Harry were cheering, because that's what they felt like that was. You're not the only one that can play this card. You're not the only one that has suffered a loss. I've suffered a loss too.
Yeah, and so therefore, and because I've now mentioned that I've suffered a loss, you really can't criticise me. So in a way, it's quite a smart move on Harry's part. But maybe what a smarter move would have been to honourably and respectfully pass the award on to someone else, or indeed decline it. Now, what we've done this week, Kinsey, is I've gone through some of the YouTube comments from last week's programme where we were speaking about this. And Kimball Share 5981 says, this award, and this is all in capitals, Kinsey, this award should be given to an American. It is as American as an award can get. So strong feelings there. And 447L says, by accepting this award, they have ignited a firestorm of hate for the disrespect they are showing to this honoured war hero. It will not be easy for them now in the US. And another one here from Smiley Z 3843. I hope people stand up and turn their backs when he gets the award. Well, people didn't do that, but of course Harry and Meghan stood up and turned their backs when they were leaving the award ceremony, which they did during a performance, didn't they?
Yeah, 30 minutes before the show ended, they walked out. And there is a video circulating, and I had a contact inside the award show, and I asked her if it was legitimate, and she said there was too much noise going on at this time for her to confirm it. She was sitting above. The celebrities were sitting below. She was with a group of veterans at the top. And there's a video that somebody took that is circulating from below where actually, let me pull up my email about this because I want to be specific about it. So you hear in this video that's circulating, and I want to stress that I have not confirmed that this video is real or the audio is real. You hear that somebody say she's no Princess of Wales as Meghan is walking out the door. I mean, you're looking at her backside. She's that far out.
So you know Princess of Wales, that was what was apparently shouted at her, right?
And so my source says, I didn't hear that from my section. She did say that there was a lot of noise because there was a contest underway when they left. It wasn't a performance, it was a contest. The entertainer, the stage, the kind of like person that they hired to like entertain people during breaks, was trying to get someone in the audience to sing the next lyric from the song, I Will Always Love You. That's why he's saying someone give her the microphone. But it is a video that's gone viral online that appears to be someone yelling in the audience as they're yelling, she's no Princess of Wales, which is, ooh.
She wouldn't have liked that. But also, even without that comment, I mean, a lot of people were pointing out how incredibly rude it was that they were blocking people's view, because didn't they stop then on their way out to say hello to certain people and greet them? And obviously there was a performer on stage that members of the audience were trying to watch, and Harry and Meghan and their entourage just completely blocked their view, right?
I mean, I think we should honestly celebrate any time Harry and Meghan talk to other people, because they're typically pretty not friendly. So I think we should be like, oh, thank God they were nice to somebody beyond their like 3 friends.
Yeah, presumably those people they were talking to were celebrities. I can only presume that they were famous people. They don't talk to normal people, do they? Not even in their own podcasts do they talk to normal people. Okay, so that's when they do. That's when they do show up. That's when they do show up, because I went back and listened to the Mariah Carey episode, because I wanted to see if I wanted to listen to what Amanda Seale said again, because Amanda Seale is one of the celebrities that came out and accused the assassination attempt of being fake, saying it was probably blood pellets and that it was all it was worse. It was a worse production than a Tyler Perry movie, Lily's Godfather. And Amanda Seale was on Meghan Markle's podcast. So I had to go back and listen to Archetypes, because I was like, why did Meghan have this woman on her podcast? And Meghan is very engaged and clearly fangirling over Mariah Carey in that interview. It's the experts that they sent the producers to talk to during Archetypes. And it was just so highly produced to like Meghan
definitely, it was like watching National, Geographic, where it's just there's like all the big noises come in and you're like, that's unnecessary. I'm watching a cheetah pound something. That's all I need right now. She just had all of these over the top sound effects, everything, and I'm just like, chill out, Meghan. That is why Spotify gave them the boot. They wanted all the bells and whistles, and at the end of the day, all they wanted from Harry and Meghan were their celebrity, their personalities. They wanted to give people the opportunity to get to know them better.
Don't they know that the way in order to produce a brilliant online show is to literally just have two people side by side with limited graphics and production just having a conversation? Wouldn't you agree, Kinsey? That's the perfect way to create the perfect show for either online or YouTube. I mean, that's what I think.
Wink, wink, nudge,
wink,
nudge.
Wink. Okay, well, talking of producing shows for an online audience, it's been claimed that Prince Harry's new Netflix polo show... oh, I'm sorry, I just fell asleep while I was talking about his new show about polo. It's unlikely to draw a large number of viewers because it centres around an elitist sport. Now, this is the royal expert Richard Fitzwilliams has said that even the addition of at least one of the Duke of Sussex's celebrity friends is unlikely to make this remotely interesting. I mean, a Netflix show around the sport of polo? What do you think, Kinsey? Do you think that that's going to be grabbing the viewer's attention?
I think ultimately what Netflix wanted out of Harry and Meghan were their personalities. And I think Meghan's show is more likely to be a commercial. I don't know if it's going to be justify the $100 million paycheck, but I think more people are going to tune in to see Meghan Markle than they are going to tune in for this polo show. But Netflix's ultimate goal was to try to pull Prince Harry's personality out here. They want to know who Prince Harry really is beyond the court battles, beyond kind of this vengeful personality or reputation he's developed over the last 4 years. I'm sure they said, "What are you passionate about? We'll do it. We'll do it. We just want to see who you are."
But after the list about weed and magic mushrooms and wanting to speak to his dealer, they suddenly got to polo.
His ideas are bad. It's talking to Putin.
Yeah.
It's talking to Trump. It's talking to the Pope. His ideas are crazy. This was probably the most attainable idea. But at the same time, I just want a friendly reminder that Serena Williams was seen on the polo field with Meghan Markle while they were shooting at least one of the episodes of this polo show. So they clearly are grasping at some of their celebrity contacts here.
Yeah, I mean, just a game of polo in order to try and bring out Prince Harry's personality. I mean, it just, like I said, it sounds as dull as ditch water. I've a lot of respect for ditch water, to be honest. There's at least that's got a use. But this is
something.
Yeah, exactly. This is just as dull. Why not? And I don't mean the Invictus. We have said this so many times till we're blue in the face. Do a documentary about veterans. Do a documentary about inspiring stories of veterans that have overcome.
But they tried that. It's called Heart of Invictus, and it bombed.
But that's because it was all about Invictus and therefore all about Harry and Meghan. And when you make a documentary, usually it's partly about yourself, but also you have to give some time to the subject matter, and the subject matter can't just be yourself. And I think that's how they struggle. And it will be interesting to see what happens with this cookery show. Though we've got a comment here, and again, these are the YouTube comments from last week's show, which reflect some of the things that we end up talking about again. And we mentioned the cookery show last week. Judith says Meghan Markle could be a Michelin star chef, and I still wouldn't watch her cooking show. Why? Because it's Meghan Markle. I mean, it's interesting though, Kinsey, because that raises an interesting point, because all Netflix care about is viewers. And I suppose Netflix aren't going to give two hoots if people are love watching or hate watching. Well, as long as they're watching, right?
That's what happened with Harry and Meghan. They're the only commercial success on their platform. A lot of people watched it because they were, just curious as to what these two could possibly say was so awful about the royal family. And or what they really wanted was Harry and Meghan to reveal who the royal racist was, which after the Oprah Winfrey interview, Harry and Meghan shut down on that topic. It's not in Spare. Yeah. It's not in the Harry and Meghan documentary. It was a deep tease that has never been actually acknowledged, except for Harry to deny it, I guess. I think he denied it and said, "Who said that? We didn't say that," in his interview with Bradby. But he did, and it's out there that we have receipts. So I think a lot of people watched it because the Oprah interview was so damaging towards the royal family, and they thought surely this would be far more damaging. Yeah. And the reality was it wasn't. It was really kind of tacky and totally self-consuming.
Yeah, tacky and self-consuming. Honestly, that could be the name of their next book. All right, we must move on because we've got to be quick with the last couple of stories. Okay, Harry and Meghan deciding to break royal tradition with their children's new surnames. Rather than having the traditional surname of Mountbatten Windsor, which is usually the name given to male descendants of the late Queen and Prince Philip, they're going to have the surname Sussex. What do you make of that, Kinsey?
I feel like we knew this. I was just looking that up. I knew this. I don't know why this is recirculating, but I knew that they were the Sussexes. We were kind of criticizing them about this a while ago, that they'd taken on the Sussexes, and their justification, I guess, was because it's more American, but you are insisting that your children are princes and princesses. So I don't know, this Harry and Meghan continuing with the half in, half out route,
Yeah, the half in, half out route. I love that. You're rhyming now, Kinsey. Do you know that? You are actually rhyming. And of course, I don't think anyone will care about their surname, but just woe betide anyone that doesn't call them Prince or Princess or Duke and Duchess. That's all I'm saying. That memo is probably on its way to us now. Let's finish with Suits, because of course, a lot of Suits reruns are on now, and apparently, and this is good, the Duchess of Sussex is actually due to get some money from this, but actually, even though she's not in it anymore.
Yeah, so this is, honestly, I don't know if I believe this. This is an estimate from the Daily Mail that she's going to get this six-figure sum from Suits reruns. Maybe it is this way now, but if you'll recall, Hollywood went on strike for a very long time because they were so unhappy with the residuals. They were so unhappy with when these shows go on streaming services, how much they were getting. So I would be really surprised if she was getting six figures from Suits reruns. So this is like when the BBC buys it, or to air on the BBC, or when you see it now, it's on Peacock here, it's on Netflix here, it's everywhere. I mean, maybe she is getting all of that collectively, since it actually is everywhere. But, if you shot one episode of Dallas, you're still getting a paycheck for it, typically 20 years later, 30 years later. However, and my friends have shown me these, they're like 50 cents. They're like a nickel,
That's enough to buy a jar of jam, maybe. I mean, it's funny you referenced.
But she is one of the stars, so yeah, she would make a significant amount more.
And it's funny you mentioned the strike, which obviously involved people just kind of not doing any work out of protest, which of course sums Meghan up since she's left the royal family. Listen, we've got to leave it there because, but as always, wonderful to see you, Kinsey. And as always, subscribe. You can do that here. Leave us a comment and we might trawl it and listen, watch it and read it next week. And we look forward to seeing you again.
Stop hiring planes. Stop hiring planes to troll Prince Harry. That's so mean.
Yeah, I won't do that again, Kinsey. I promise I'm not going to hire another plane with a banner on the back whatsoever. I won't be doing that, other than with jam flavours, maybe that. But listen, wonderful to see you as always, and we'll see you next time for another Pump Up the Jam.
Bye.